Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Travel Mole interview on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, also on our website. And this is a particular one of interest to almost any agency, almost anywhere in the world, but particularly in the United Kingdom, that have used the Visa and Mastercard corporate cards. I would think it's highly unlikely an agency and operator haven't used those in the past. And the reason this should be of interest is that there is now going to be a class action against Visa and Mastercard, because they have been doing something these gentlemen think is inappropriate and would have been charging you more money. So I'm delighted to introduce Steve Allen and Jeremy Robson of Harkers Parker, a legal firm. They're taking a class action against Visa and Mastercard, and we're going to find out a little bit more detail. So good morning, Steve, and good morning, Jeremy.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Jeremy, let's come to you first. You're the legal beagle here. What is it that you think Visa and Mastercard have been doing wrong?
Mastercard and Visa have been doing anti-competitive deals with the banks, and that's simply unlawful. What they did was to say, look, if you want to take part in our card payment scheme, you have to sign up to our rules. And one of those rules is that the banks have to charge each other fees called interchange fees. So whenever any business takes a card payment, obviously it has to pay charges to its bank, but a big part of those charges are these interchange fees. Now, these fees are not set by the banks competing with each other. They're set by Mastercard and Visa and imposed on the banks. And if they didn't impose these fees, they wouldn't be there. But they are there, and the banks then pass those fees on to their business customers. So the businesses are losing money just by accepting card payments. And this problem is particularly acute for accepting payments by corporate cards and consumer cards used by overseas visitors.
That doesn't sound very good, does it, Steve? I mean, Steve, you're the man with the travel industry experience. Am I right in my assertion that there are very few businesses that would not have been using or would have been involved in any of these actions, i.e. accepting payments or using corporate cards themselves?
Indeed, corporate cards are used not just by businesses, but all sorts of organizations and individuals. And clearly, when you buy travel using a card like that, or as Jeremy mentioned, overseas visitors using their cards to consume hotel content or whatever in the UK, there's a charge for the privilege of using those cards. And in the travel sector, where our margins are pretty low, the cost of using these cards is disproportionately high. And we contend that this has been based on an anti-competitive position, and we believe that there's a lot of money that should be recovered and repaid to travel companies. The actual actions will go back in time to the beginning of, or April 2016, and then go forward until such point as they're satisfied and there's a judgment. So there's a lot of money at stake over a long period of time, and it's an opportunity for my sector to actually recover some of the money that has been overcharged, which I think is absolutely critical, particularly given the pain that we've all endured going through the COVID pandemic.
Jeremy, you're calling this, you're undertaking a class action. A class action, I think, is a relatively new legal move in the UK. It's been very common in the States for some time, but in words of one syllable, perhaps you can explain what a class action is and what the difference is between that and a normal legal action.
Of course, a class action is simply the most efficient way for all the claims, for all the merchants to be brought at the same time and in the same place. It's more efficient than all of those businesses individually bringing separate claims before a court. And there's one court in the UK that is appropriate for doing this, and it's called the Competition Appeal Tribunal. And it's a specialist UK court for hearing competition cases, and it has the ability to certify class actions, or as they're sometimes known as well, collective proceedings.
Excellent. Well, Steve, how much would it cost? I mean, even from what I've heard very briefly, if I was a travel agency, I'd want a piece of the action, so to speak, but it would depend on a couple of things. One is, would it cost me money to join this class action? And if it does, how much? And secondly, when am I likely to get my money back?
Okay, in a nutshell, there are no costs to be involved in these class actions, and they're divided into two. One for the very large companies with turnover pre-COVID of more than 100 million per year, and they'll be the opt-in claimants. And any companies with turnover less than 100 million, which obviously represents the vast majority in our sector, will have the opt-out opportunity. So all you have to do as an agent or a small tour operator or whatever it may be, a small hotel, is register on the website, and then should we be successful, then monies will be distributed to some formula to be defined at the end of the case. So there's no cost and there's no risk either, because the cases are fully insured should we be unsuccessful, although we've got the funding because the funder believes that we will be successful based on all sorts of legal precedents.
Okay. Well, Jeremy, it all sounds good, but often the case with legal situations, time drags on and on and on. When will this case come to court? Do you have a feel for that? And if so, how long would it take for that case to be heard and for a decision to be made?
Part of the answer to your question lies in the hands of Mastercard and Visa and how long they want to fight this case. There will be a number of different court hearings for different purposes. The first major court hearing is for the court to decide whether to green light this case as something that it wants to hear in due course. If they do so, then the case is live and up and running. And then it really is a question of how long the card schemes wish to fight it. But we are funded and organised and prepared for this to be a long haul if it needs to be. But we prefer it to be resolved much sooner than that.
Okay, so being a simpleton, perhaps I can summarise that Mastercard and Visa have over a number of years acted as a cartel in setting this interchange fee, which by your reckoning is that's not right because it's been set as a cartel without any competition, and secondly it's a fee that is unnecessary. So those fees that they've been charging are basically fees that could come back to a travel agency or a tour operator or a hotel or anybody that's been taking payments. Yes. Correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And airlines too. No, it's UK and travel and hospitality and other merchants, but the travel and hospitality sectors have been hardest hit by these charges.
Okay, and what is the website that people need to go to register?
Oh, sorry, Jeremy, you go.
It's very simple. You go to commercialcardclaim.co.uk, you click on join the claim and enter your details, 2 minutes, and you're done.
And on that
commercialcardclaim.co.uk.
That's right.
Correct. And on that website, Graham, there's also a lot of information about the case and background, which will be helpful.
Marvellous. Gentlemen, thank you. I wish you all the very best. We'll try and distribute this as far and wide as possible. Once again, I wish you the very best of luck, and let's have another little chat, maybe in 6 months' time, or see how, or whenever the next major progress or otherwise has been made.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.